We drove over 1,500 kilometres and visited 5 unique parks in Kenya, and looking back at the files, I realised something. The strongest part of this trip wasn't just one location, it was the contrast between them all. The reason my portfolio from this trip looks so diverse is because we constantly changed the environment. That's exactly why I designed my Best of Kenya workshop this way, to force that variety. But if you don't have 12 days or you're planning your own trip and can only pick 2 spots, which 2 would you choose? Today I'm ranking all 5 destinations from worst to best, then I'll give you the perfect 2 park combos depending on your style. I'm Adam Edwards, professional photographer and workshop leader. For this series, I scored every location out of 50 based on photo opportunities, light, access, uniqueness, and overall experience. Let's not waste any time and get into the results. But first, context is everything. I chose to travel in November. This is the start of the short rains. The grass is greening up and the dust is settling, and most importantly, the massive crowds of the Great Migration have largely dispersed. This creates a specific photographic environment, better backgrounds but harder spotting conditions. Keep that in mind as we go through these rankings, because the time of the year you visit will have a massive impact on your experience. Coming in at number 5 was Lake Nakuru with 37 out of 50. The zoo vibe hurt the score, but the environmental rhino shots added a texture to the portfolio that we couldn't get anywhere else. Coming in at number 4 was Amboseli with a 39 out of 50. High risk, high reward, it gave us dust and atmosphere that separates a pretty photo from a moody one. At number 3, the Mara Triangle with 40 out of 50, the volume king. This delivered the action and the density you need to stack the odds in your favour. Number 2 was the Masai Mara, the main part of the park. 42 out of 50. The surprise here was the intimacy. This let us slow down and make clean art frames without the crowds. Samburu, number 1 at 47 out of 50. The winner for me, unique species, unique colour palette, and a feeling of wildness that grounded the entire trip. It's easy to say variety matters, but let me show you what that looks like in the images. I've pulled together some of the best moments from each of the 5 locations to show you how different the shooting experience is in every park. First up, Lake Nakuru. It ranked last, but it still has a role in the itinerary. Nakuru can feel managed, the roads are fixed, the bush is dense, and the clean safari portraits are not always on offer. So the win here is mindset. If you stay open-minded and you shoot what the park gives you, layers, behaviour, bird life on the lake edge, little openings in the scrub, you never know what incredible moment is about to present itself. This frame's a good example of the Nakuru approach. I shot tight and at f5 to hold separation in the busy scene, but I still wanted it to feel like it belonged in the forest. When you can get close to the subject, you can still pull it off the background, even when everything behind it's messy. Nakuru rewards patience more than it rewards chasing. If you slow down, watch the gaps and let the story come to you, it can surprise you. And then we move to Amboseli, a totally different game. Here, the win isn't isolating a face, it's conveying the sense of scale and awe. In this frame, the elephants are tiny, and that's the whole point. At Amboseli, you don't just chase closeness, you build the landscape first, sky, horizon, light, and then let the subject sit inside it like a visual anchor. That's why I stopped down to around f8 here. You need enough depth for the whole story to hold together, elephants, plains, and those dramatic clouds. If you shoot it wide open, the scene falls apart and it just turns into animals in space. Amboseli rewards big thinking. If you embrace the space and scale, you come home with images that feel like the place, not just the subject. Next is the Mara Triangle. Remember, this is the volume king. The Mara Triangle has a high density of animals, which means more opportunities to capture real behaviour, and that changes how you shoot. The skill you need here is readiness. Stay flexible, shoot through the weather, and give moments time to build, because you don't get cubs, rain, and emotion landing in the same frame if you're only half committing. You can see that strategy at work here. The storm killed the late afternoon light. so I pushed the ISO to 3600 to make sure I caught the moment without blur. Staying open and flexible to the conditions bagged some of the best images of the whole trip. The triangle rewards time on the ground. Bank enough minutes and it will eventually hand you something special. Contrast that with the time we spent east of the Mara River. Here the win isn't volume, it's space. Cleaner horizons, clean backgrounds, and the ability to compose something graphic without 10 vehicles and a mess behind your subject. The result looks like this. Everything hinges on a perfectly clean line, so you build the scene first. Horizon, negative space, then wait for the animal to step into it. But the second lesson out here is patience. Episode 3 is proof. That last light leopard climbing with its prey only happens when you stay out, stay ready, and stay open-minded, even when you think the day's done. The Masai Mara is all about finding the quality instead of the quantity, and it rewards photographers who slow down enough to let the moment come to them. And finally, our winner, Samburu. Samburu feels open, fewer vehicles, more space, and more time to work an image properly instead of shooting around the crowds. The win here is breathing room. But there's a trade-off. With fewer eyes on the wildlife, you rely heavily on your guide and work harder to find the action in the first place. This frame is a great example. I shot it wide open at f4 to turn the foreground grass into a soft wash. Then use that clean space and warm light to keep the subject simple and bold. Samburu rewards photographers who are patient and switched on. If you commit to the search, it gives you the time and space to make your best work. 5 parks, 5 completely different approaches. If you stay in one place, you only train one creative muscle. But this loop makes you adapt. Landscape thinking 1 minute, clean portrait work the next, then ready for the action when the light and the weather turn. It forces you to see differently, shoot differently, and just quietly, it makes you a better photographer. When you look at these scores, you might think just go to Samburu. But here's the secret, the best of Kenya itinerary works because of the flow. You go from the red dust of the north to the plains of the south. You switch from fast-paced action to slow-paced hunting. That contrast keeps you creatively fresh. However, I know not everyone can afford the time or the money of a longer trip. So if you had to condense this experience and pick just 2, here's how I would pair them to get the best possible result. Option 1 is the action hunter, the Mara Triangle and Amboseli. If you want the blockbuster experience, big herds, and iconic scenes, pair the Mara Triangle with Amboseli. You trade the privacy for volume, but you'll come home with full memory cards and classic safari moments. Option 2 is the artist's loop. Samburu and Masai Mara. This is my personal favourite. If you want to create unique images rather than just document animals, combine Samburu with the Masai Mara. You get the colour and wildness of the north, paired with the regular high-impact sightings in the Mara. It's quality over quantity. Option 3 is the specialist, Nakuru and Samburu. If you're chasing specific species and unique experiences, pair Nakuru with Samburu for the Special 5 and other great animals. This is a technical, patient itinerary for people who have specific shots in mind who might have already captured the common safari moments. But before you book those flights, there's one major reality check. Geography. Kenya is huge and roads are an experience. Sometimes you don't pick a park because it's a 50 out of 50. You pick it because it breaks up a 12-hour drive. Lake Nakuru might be number 5 on my list, but it's the perfect halfway point between Samburu and the Mara. If you skip it, you're looking at a brutal day in a Land Cruiser. So when you plan your route, sometimes the best itinerary is the one that doesn't leave you feeling completely exhausted. Whether you do the full loop with me on my next workshop or you plan your own shorter trip, the goal is the same. Don't just book a safari, book the specific parks that give you the images that you want. Drop a comment with the 2 parks you'd pick or any questions about planning your own trip below and I will jump in. Thanks for watching. See you next time.